All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the fourth part of the show, we are now going to get into talking about the Panthers picking up their first win of the season against the Raiders, defeating the Raiders 36-22 in the Raiders' home opener. So let's get into that. So obviously they made that change. A quarterback, referenced it before we went to break. They made that change at quarterback. They went from Bryce Young to Andy Dalton, and I did expect to see a different Panthers offense. I thought they would be able to, I thought they were going to put up points, but I still thought this was going to be a competitive game, a tough game, because the Raiders, at home, I thought, that pass rush with Max Crosby was going to be a problem for him, but it really wasn't. It really was not. The Panthers looked like a completely different team. Andy Dalton, from start to finish, played very well. And here are his stats from the game. 319 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions on the day. The Panthers ran the football well in this game. Chuba Hubbard had 21 carries for 114 yards. Deontay Johnson had a breakout game for them. 8 receptions for 122 yards and a touchdown. Chuba Hubbard also had a receiving touchdown in this game. Xavier Legette, 2 receptions for 42 yards. Adam Thielen, 3 for 40 and a touchdown. Did leave the game early with an injury. So hopefully, that's not a long-term injury. Because Thielen, last year had a good year for the Panthers. And he's, obviously getting older, but, is still a productive receiver. And, yeah, they just looked like a completely different team. 3 sacks of Gardner Minshew in this game by the defense. It was just a completely different Panthers team. And then as for the Raiders, Gardner Minshew did not play well. 18 of 28, 214 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. AidanO'Connell was put in this game. He went 9 of 12 for 82 yards and a touchdown. Raiders are still not running the ball great. Trey Tucker was their leading receiver, 7 receptions for 96 yards and a touchdown. Jacoby Myers, 7 for 62 and a touchdown. Devontae Adams, 4 for 40. Brock Bowers, 3 for 41. 2 sacks in the game by the Raiders. And, yeah, not a good performance by them. And Antonio Pierce at the end of the game said, guys are making business decisions, and he said that they're going to be making business decisions. So we'll see what that means. Definitely controversy at the quarterback position. We could very well see AidanO'Connell starting in Week 4 for them because Gardner Minshew did not play well. And this is after, going into Baltimore and beating the Ravens, being down 10. But that's the NFL for you. It's week to week. So actually, this pick ended up being good for me. This ended up working out. I took the Panthers with the points, and that ended up paying off. So, yeah, I mean, got to give Andy Dalton credit, and look, I mean, is he, going to be the answer long term for the Panthers? No, but he's at least the answer for right now. And, many people are talking about it. Look how good they looked when he played on Sunday. Looked like a completely different team. And, many people talking about it's an indictment on Bryce Young, why this offense was not getting it done. Now, I do think that you have to put blame on Bryce Young for why this offense has not been great these last couple of years. But Bryce Young maybe just was not ready. He got thrown right in. Situation was not great in his rookie year. They got rid of DJ Moore. No Christian McCaffrey. Adam Thielen was your top receiver, and it's an older Adam Thielen. This year they at least attempted to try to better this offense around him, improving the offensive line. They got Deontay Johnson. They drafted Xavier Legette. You got Jonathan Brooks coming back soon. So they at least attempted to try to improve this offense, but these first 2 weeks, Bryce Young was not great. He was not good at all. And the Panthers had to make a change. And it's interesting because Dave Canales said that Bryce Young was the guy moving forward, and then all of a sudden they benched him and they put in Andy Dalton. Many people are pointing to Dave Tepper as the reason for why that was the case. Because he doesn't want to see this season unravel. Wants the Panthers to have a season. And it's just kind of funny when you look at the quarterbacks of the AFC South. You have Derek Carr, Andy Dalton now, Baker Mayfield, and Kirk Cousins. it's an interesting division. And you know what? The Panthers can make some noise here with Andy Dalton in this division. I think, he showed it. He can still play. And you look at, like, the Panthers' weapons. Are they the best in the world? No. But, you got some weapons there. Chuba Hubbard, he's played well for them these last couple of years. Deontay Johnson, I still think is a decent receiver. We'll see what, Xavier Legette is throughout the season in his rookie year. And you hope Thielen's not out for an extended period of time, because if he's still playing, Thielen's going to do well. So, this Panthers team is going to be a problem. If Andy Dalton can continue to play like that. I don't think he's going to play like that every single week. I think there's going to be games where he doesn't do well. But, you give Andy Dalton weapons, you give him good protection, he's gonna put up good stats for you, and that's what he did. As for the Raiders, that was a very disappointing performance. Andy Dalton just picked apart that defense, and Gardner Minshew did not play well. So, like I said, probably going to end up seeing AidanO'Connell this week. I would imagine that he's going to be the starter after the performance that Minshew put on Sunday. So, yeah, but you got to give props to the Panthers. The season's back on. Well, again, I don't expect them to be a playoff team. Again, this NFC South, who knows what's going to happen. But with Andy Dalton, this offense is in a better position than it was with Bryce Young. Now, what does that mean for Bryce Young going forward? Could they move off of him and maybe a team comes in and tries to fix him? I think that's probably what's going to end up happening. And I think that's what should happen. I think Bryce Young should request a trade and get out of there, go somewhere where someone can fix you, because you see some of these other quarterbacks around the league. Look at Geno Smith in Seattle, Sam Darnold with the Vikings, Baker Mayfield in Tampa. I know Baker had a rough game on Sunday, but still, he's been playing well. These quarterbacks go to different places, and if you end up in the right spot, team could fix you. So, maybe Bryce Young could go. The Rams, I know, is a team that maybe could be that. Maybe the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. You sit behind Aaron Rodgers, although I think going to the Rams would be better because, look, as much as you'll be sitting behind Aaron Rodgers, you also got Robert Saleh and Nathaniel Hackett there. And I think for Bryce Young, he should end up in a situation where you could sit and you have a good head coach. That's an offensive-minded head coach. And I think going to the Rams, I think that would be a great fit for him. You sit behind Matthew Stafford, you got Sean McVay there, and I think that would be a good spot for him. The Jets with Aaron Rodgers, yes, it would be great to sit behind Aaron Rodgers, but the coaching staff is where I have a problem. So, and who knows how long Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing for. We got this year. I think he still wants to play. So he's going to play this year and next year. But beyond that, who knows? But, yeah, Bryce Young, I think he should be looking to get out of Carolina. And as for the Panthers, look, you got Andy Dalton. He's not going to be the long-term answer, so they're going to have to figure something out with the quarterback position because, again, Andy Dalton is not the long-term answer here. So, but let me know what you guys think about this game. What were your takeaways from it? Yeah, for the Raiders, that was rough. That was rough. So they got to get back on the right track, and we, again, could see a quarterback change. Also, what did Antonio Pierce mean by business decisions? We got to see if any more news comes out of Vegas there. Yeah, Panthers pick up the win. They look like a different team. Although and again, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves with a lot of these games and some of these teams' records because it's not going to be the same when we get to the end of the year. But yeah, let's see. Anthony Manzano in the chat said, in your honest opinion, do you think the Dolphins are going to have to trade for a veteran backup or maybe try to get Matthew Stafford? I don't think so with Stafford. The Rams just came off of a big win against the Niners. And I think, look, Cooper Kupp's not going on IR, so hopefully you get him back, you get this offensive line healthy, and suddenly the Rams, if they can continue to tread water, then you get Puka Nacua back. they're still going to be in the thick of things. I think that win against the 49ers really showed you something. Dolphins are another team, though. They could be a destination for Bryce Young if the Panthers would trade him there. But it is interesting. They could go after another quarterback. They did sign Tyler Huntley, so if I'm the Dolphins and you got him on the roster, I'm starting him over Tim Boyle. And now Skylar Thompson got hurt. I'm starting Tyler Huntley next week. Like, I know Tyler Huntley's not, spectacular, but he's definitely the best option that they have right now as opposed to Tim Boyle. So maybe they go after another quarterback. You still got Ryan Tannehill out there. I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't been signed by somebody. I feel like he could at least be a backup, but that's just me. So we're going to take our final break of the show. When we come back, we will talk about the Steelers picking up a win against the Chargers. However, the Chargers lost. It was a lot more than just that because Justin Herbert got hurt in the game, and he had to leave the game early. So we'll get into all that when we return from our final break. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.